Going. See everybody? Hard to believe. Week 9?
Yeah, I guess.
10, technically.
10, you got a bye week.
I didn't see it that week.
Yeah.
It's 9 for me.
How'd you evaluate offense at Washington?
Thought we played really well in the first half, and in the third quarter, we had 2 costly drives that we didn't, execute well, and weren't able to play well throughout the course of the game. The first half, I loved how we competed and played, and then in the third quarter, we had the first series out of the third quarter, we had a 3-play set where we had a drop pass, an opportunity to flip the field around, and not a great play call on a third down. And in the next series, we got down there and had a moment, a situation where we got closer to the red zone, which we had been doing. I felt good about our plan in that area, and then we went from 3rd and 5, and coach had told me I had 2 downs, that we had 2 downs to get it, so we were in a 2-down mindset going into 3rd down. So 3rd and 5, felt good about being able to get a first down with a 2-call set, and then we had a penalty, made it 3rd and 20, turned it over, and really after that point it got away from us, So first half, I thought a lot of energy and confidence and competitiveness, and the third quarter we just didn't execute. You got to be able to execute for 4 quarters in this league, or it's not going to go well.
Luke ran the ball a little more, combination design runs than him just keeping it. Was that Washington specific, or do you see him maybe doing that a little bit more?
Yeah, it's something we want to do down the stretch a little bit more. He's very capable and injects some, positive things into the run game, and +1 mindset. We're not going to make a living do it, but certainly something that we want to be able to use down the stretch.
Explosive plays usually kind of happen organically, but are there times where you feel like you need to stretch the field a little bit more?
You talking about specifically from the game the other day, or just overall?
Just overall.
I feel like, I don't know not really. I feel like we put the ball down the field and take shots, and when they present themselves, we do, and when they don't, we check it down. And so there's probably a lot of play calls that are designed to get the ball down the field, that it result into being check downs at times because of what the structure of the coverage is. But philosophically, I don't see a pressing need to continue to try to foster more ways to put the ball down the field. I think we're confident in doing that. I think our receivers and quarterbacks are good at it, but explosive plays usually result of good fundamentals and good execution and taking advantage of what presents itself from the defense.
It feels like the offensive line has taken a step forward in the last couple of weeks. Brett, credit to you and Barry for getting together and figuring out how to address that. What went into that, or what's led to improve it the last couple of weeks?
Well, I think the guys are just gelling, even though they played together previously. The previous year, each year's a different year. We're playing different defenses and different schedule and different environments, and so all that contributes to that. I think we've done a good job, really focusing in and honing in on our strengths down the stretch, because we had a group coming back that we really believed in, and we tried to do some maybe some different schemes early on during the year, and kind of got maybe a false read against Western early in the year about some things that we could do, and that carried over for a couple, 3 weeks, and I think we've really scaled that back and really focused on what we do well and try to accentuate that more than we do anything else. And so our guys are playing physical, and when they're confident and when they're confident in what they're doing and how they're doing it, we do a good job up front. But I've been proud of the group that they've leveled off in a strong way, and they're going to have to play well for us down the stretch to get done what we want to get done.
How familiar does Rutgers present compared to last year on defense?
Yeah, very similar. Coach Shiano's been there for I don't know how many years now. Obviously, combined the two stints. So I think his defense has always presented similar in his belief system and what he's done, and they built a program around defense for years there. And so we got a lot of respect of what they are and who they are, and what their belief system is, because it comes through. They play really hard. You think the front, there's not a lot of secrets in what they do from a front standpoint, and they try to beat you with with execution and details and fundamentals and playing hard. And so we're going to have to really match that with our own execution, our own details, and our own playing at a really high, gritty level, because that's what they flourish on. But there's a lot of carryover from what we saw last year, with some nuances always.
Barry, after the game, Luke seems to really enjoy having Cole Rusk out there on the field with him. We know they're fairly close, very close. How do you see that relationship play out?
Oh, yeah, they're boys, yeah, they're boys. They've got a good rapport, and listen, that's really come to life the last few weeks on the field too, and something that we got to continue to foster ways to happen, because, like, I think Luke's very confident, and when it comes time to, deliver the ball to him, and I think that's grown. And what's been good is that it's grown, and we've stayed within the structure of what we're doing. Early on there was a little bit of, I think a couple times where it was like, hey, I want to get him the ball, and Luke's done a good job of letting that come to him naturally. And but one of the things about that Cole, probably more than anybody else on our team right now, is every opportunity he's been given, he's taken advantage of in the passing game, and so it's been really positive. Made a heck of a play the other day. Did some good things for us.
What kind of threat does that present to a defense when you have a tight end who can stretch in the way that Cole does, as it relates to the rest of the
Yeah, well, I can't speak from a defensive perspective, but I can say that having that on film, having another weapon that can create a matchup with a linebacker or a safety is a positive thing for us offensively.
Barry, schematically, when you mentioned that you've put 8 games on tape, you're now into the last month of the year, how much do you guys in your building go, okay, they get paid too, we've created an 8-game book, maybe we need to change the picture a little bit without completely changing what works, you know what I'm saying? Like, just to kind of...
Well, that's why they invented shifts, motions, and movements, and formations, and us getting to draw up how you get to where you end up getting and what you end up doing, because I think that's the name of the game at this level. I mean, if you just line up in the same formation, the same play over and over again, the people in this league are too good physically, they're too good schematically, and to be able to do that and be able to think that you're going to have a lot of success, doing that. So this time of year is always the time of year, to your point, that when you revisit things you've done several
Make the
times.
adjustment to the
adjustment.
adjustment.
You got adjustment.
Yeah.
You got to have a play off of it, a compliment, a run off a pass, or a pass off the run formation, and then you change up how you get there with the shifts and movements and motions.
Coach, philosophically, do you put much stock in time of possession? And are you thinking about keeping the ball away from an opponent that has a high scoring offense?
We're just trying to stay on the field and score, whether it takes 14 plays or 3 plays. I mean, that's our job, is to score, and to score one more point than the other team. It's just really that simple. And so each game takes its own flavor and its own kind of path on how that thing unfolds. And but no, we don't put a lot of thought into that in those regards. The game's kind of shifted over the last few years. There's a lot more huddles going on. There's a lot more pro style stuff coming out. It's kind of filtering into the college level again, where the pro style stuff is becoming more and more prevalent. Like, for instance, last week, both of our offenses in the first half were staying on the field and huddling and using sustained drives, and so before you know it, it was halftime. And so there's some games where it goes a lot quicker than that. Each game's its own animal, and ultimately it's our job is to execute, stay on the field, and score. It doesn't matter how long that takes.
Barry, on that point, on the drive right before half, is it the situation where if that draw pops, now we're going to get aggressive and try to get points, or
Yeah,
is that
we were
the
trying
idea?
we were trying to test the waters there a little bit in the field position, being in that little kind of foggy area of, we start with the ball in the third quarter, and
Sure.
if we can pop a run, we can get going there, and so all those moments are just individual, unique to each situation, each game, and I think we felt good about starting with the ball in the third quarter and seeing what happens with the run and developed, and it kind of popped, but not quite enough to get us going.
Feels like Hudson and Luke have been so close to some
Yeah.
big plays. Is that just a process of them getting accustomed to each other, or what's kind of the missing piece right there between the
Yeah, it's execution. I mean, at the end of the day, and we've got a lot of confidence in Hudson, and again, everybody that we put out there has earned the right to get out there, and I think he's continued to get better and better each week in practice and how he presents himself. And really, him and J-Bo both, one of the things that's those two are the new guys. Really, you got him and those two and Trimble being the 3 new guys in our system, and it's a reminder to me, like, even though we're 8 weeks into it through the spring, like the experience that Hank and Colin and Cap and Ashton and those guys have, Tanner Arkin in our system with our signals and our communication. It's like, they've been in 2 or 3 years, and so I take that for granted at times, you know, and we'll try to do a sprinkle or something, and then I realize, you know, hey, this is new for them, and that's, we don't wanna do anything to set those guys back, from a, you know, a comfortability standpoint, because we want their natural talents to take over, and so it's just, I mean, it's just that close. I think we're close to a breakout there. It's nothing we're flinching over, and I know that Luke or Hudson aren't as well.
How do you handle when you have those unsportsmanlike, those post-play penalties or critical times like that? What do you guys do as a coaching staff Sunday or even on the sidelines on Saturday?
Well, obviously, we immediately address it, you know, and we just, you can't have those. You can't have them in any field space, any situation, home or road, Big Ten, non-conference, doesn't matter. You just can't have post-snap penalties. Pre and post-snap penalties are just a big no-no. And, you know, you can't survive offensively and as a team with pre and post-snap penalties, and we make a big deal about that year-round. Our guys know that, but yet, you know, when those happen, you know, it's just, you gotta remind them, and you gotta really tighten up the ship and just say, listen, this is not acceptable, no matter what position, no matter where it happens, and because it's just hard to overcome those setbacks. We overcame one of them, but the other one we didn't, and it complicated things, and so we gotta let that be a learning tool. You know, we talk about our guys all the time, there's, you know, either you gotta get it corrected. If it's you that gets it corrected, you know, then, you know, like if you make the mistake, obviously it's gotta get corrected, but you gotta proactively correct it if it wasn't you. You know, I mean, if it wasn't you that made the mistake, you gotta learn from that and make sure you're absorbing that moment. And when you get thrust in those situations, you just can't have you know, a reaction that puts us back 15 yards.
Last one here.
Something Jeff Fish mentioned after the game as well, is you noted maybe the fewer number of drives for both teams. Just how does that maybe change what you do as a coordinator? You're just gonna have 8 in a game.
Yeah, I mean, I don't really go into the game thinking about those things. I just go into the game thinking about when we get the ball, what we need to do. And you control what you control, right? And whether it's the weather, a weather factor, you know, officiating, you know, whatever it might be, you know, like, and when I say officiating, I just mean like reacting to the call, you know, like if it goes forward 15 yards or backwards 15 yards or holding for them or holding for us, you just react to the call, right? You control what you can control. So the call's the call, the weather's the weather, the number of snaps you get is the number of snaps you get. And it's our job just to play the best that we can when we get the football, and it's really that simple.
All right.
Thank you.